All right, it says we are live. I'm going to mute my mic and I'm going to click over to YouTube and see if we are on there. All right, ladies, it looks like we are all there and ready to go. And let's see if we have, I'm not seeing any viewers, so give me a second.
I see names popping up for us.
There we go.
Yeah. 56. Somebody says it's 56 viewing currently. We have lots of good comments here.
Yeah.
So hello, everyone. Thanks for the greetings. We're kind of working through a few things, but we'll start here in a second. I see some new people are joining in. I just got the good to go. All right, we are good to go. But it looks like the presentation isn't set to go. It is. It's kind of faded looking on my end. Okay. Oh, okay. Wait, there it goes. All right. So, hi, I am Chris Owen. I will be the 7th grade counselor for next year. I'm currently the 8th grade counselor. We loop through with the kids, so I will be the 6th grade the 7th grade counselor for next year.
And I'm Mrs. Smoot. I'm currently the 7th grade school counselor, and I'll be the 8th grade school counselor next year.
And I am Mrs. Richardson. I am the head principal. Mrs. LaMonaco and Mr. Smith are my assistants, and they were unable to make it tonight. But they send their hellos and greetings and welcomes to all of the families who are coming up to us next year at Ridgeview.
So just to kind of let you know some of the things that we'll be talking about tonight. We've already done the welcome and introductions. We are going to go through with you the typical day or the bell schedule for next year. If any of you are joining us again with another child, maybe you have some older students, you will see that the schedule is dramatically changed. And we were telling your sixth grade students it is completely different than what the older students have seen in a while. So we're going to go over that with you. We're going to also be talking about how we're moving from trimesters to quarters, what that looks like. We're going to go over some scheduling, some classes. We're going to talk a little bit more about, the visits that we made to the middle schools, and then answer any questions that you might have. And for those of you who don't know, the rest of our office staff, here are pictures of everyone. The one in the middle on the top is Miss Monaco, and then Mr. Smith. Next year, our bell schedule is going to be, we're going to have 8 periods in the day. We are starting the day with first period, which is a little different than the way we've done it in the past. We've had paw time first thing in the morning. So we start the day first period. The periods are around 40 minutes or so. And first period is a little bit longer because of attendance and that kind of thing. And then between second and third period, we will have paw time and E&I. E&I is the same as what students experience at the middle school right now. They do the iReady and things like that. And paw time it's really just a chance for the students to connect with the teachers, for them to kind of have a relation, develop a relationship, so that if students need help or they just need to connect with anyone, their paw time teacher is kind of a go-to person or a trusted adult for them. And then we will have 5 lunch periods, and the students were a little disappointed to find out that they don't get all 5. They only get assigned 1 lunch period, and that is basically decided by the classes they take, the team they're on, and that kind of thing. So they don't get to choose their lunch period, and they also don't get to choose when they have certain classes. But we do have 5 lunch periods next year and 8 periods. I guess I should have mentioned too that the day starts, I'm sure you noticed, the day starts at 7:15 and ends at 2:10, which is some of the students were moaning and groaning because they knew the morning, bright and early in the morning is not their thing, but they were happy to see that we got out at 2:10. So when it comes to the scheduling, we have automatically put in the classes that students will register for with regard to like math, science, English, and social studies. All of their core classes will be in the scheduling system for you. They are based on the current level the students are taking, as well as we also look at test scores and different things like that for placement. So students are kind of placed, and then they will move up through the levels. So the class that is in Infinite Campus that your child is registered for is the one that they were placed into. I have already had a couple of notifications today that I need to change a couple of students around. So if you notice that there's a mistake, please just let us know. Or if it's related to gifted services, the number for gifted services is in a later slide, so we can provide that for you as well. All students need to register for is their electives. And in order to do that, they will go to the scheduling hub, which looks like this. We are going to kind of walk through the scheduling hub a little bit. It has pretty much any question that you would have about scheduling is going to be in the hub. So I know it's a little hard to see. We had hoped that we could link it and kind of work through some of the different links that are in there. But just, to kind of walk you through it. at the very, very top, there are 4 numbers. Those 4 things are very important that you kind of make sure you are doing first. You first need to watch the welcome video, and it will kind of, walk you through the junior high experience. And the number 2 is the timeline as far as when the schedules are due, I think it even lists on there like when we visited each middle school. And again, this meeting was on there. So it's just the timeline of events for scheduling. And then I'm sorry, that was the third thing. I'm having a little trouble seeing it too. The number 2 is how to schedule. So that is a step-by-step to kind of walk you through how to put your requests into Infinite Campus. And if you are going to sit down to watch that video, please make sure you have your Chromebook, kind of close by so that the student can kind of walk through it as they go through the video. Below that are the lists of electives that students can take. So there are a whole bunch of electives that we have, and we have brand new ones for next year that we're really excited about. So please, if you're interested in certain classes, the ones that are underlined are actually the ones that we've had a little bit longer. The ones that are not are the newer ones. So I told the students, they'll be the ones in the videos next year as we do this presentation, because right now we don't have a whole lot for those classes in terms of videos, but you can click on those others and kind of get an idea about what the class is. But your best information is going to come from the course of study, which you will see in the purple column on the left at the very top. That is a kind of a booklet of all of the courses that we offer and the descriptions for those courses. It lists the prerequisites, pretty much anything you would need to know about those courses, and also what levels the students, like what grade levels can take certain courses, and just a lot of information. So if there are any questions that you have after you watch the videos, I encourage you to make the course of study your friend and go in and really, really look at that. There is also a document in the purple column that allows you, it's sort of like a checklist of all the different courses that we offer, to maybe just provide you with a visual to check off the classes that you want to take. We do not need that form. It's strictly for your information. There's a lot of other links in there. There's links to gifted services, links to EL, special education, all of those types of things. And then one area that I'd really like to point out, we get a lot of questions about, why is my student in this level? Why isn't my student in algebra, or that kind of thing. If you look in that purple column, the top one, and where it says junior high core classes, you will see math, science, social studies, and ELA. If you click on those, they will tell you all the information you need to know about what are the requirements for getting into those courses, and just in general, the different progression of the courses. So if you have any questions about the core courses, those links will answer pretty much anything you have. But if you do have more, you can let us know. And then at the bottom, there are videos specific to Ridgeview. You can look down through there. There's like social media link and different things like that. One thing that I would like to also point out, if you notice at the bottom on the right, the gray box, those are the year-long electives. We next year, because we are on quarters next year instead of trimesters, we are going to have quarter classes, we're going to have semester classes, and we're going to have year-long classes. So we're going to be talking about that a little bit more here in a minute, but I wanted to make sure you kind of noticed that there were different lengths of classes, and that you can also find that in the course of study if you're not sure how long a class is going to to be. At the bottom in that gray box, you will also see a link to athletics. A lot of students are asking us, what athletics do you have? And if you click on the Ridgeview link, it will list out fall, winter, spring, and it will give you all of the athletic opportunities that students have in junior high on those links. So you can find any of the athletic information out there. And finally, at the bottom, there is a Google form where you can ask questions. However, we told students that we'd really like for them to be sure to, check with their teachers, check with their counselor, check with, talk to you, talk to siblings, try to get some of the answers. And if there were answers that they still couldn't come up with, to put them into the Google form. Also, the Google form is not an automatic thing. I know students, a lot of times they'll Google something and immediately get a response. This is a form that we respond to, and we try to get back to them in a timely manner. So if they ask a question, it won't pop up immediately. It might take, give it 24 hours and someone will answer the question. Ms. Richardson, can you advance it? Thank you. So again, I just like to emphasize, make sure you watch the elective videos, look at the core class explanations, look at the scheduling timeline. We're coming up on, well, it just opened on Monday. I'm sorry. I am also scheduling high school students, and their deadline's coming up sooner than the junior high students. So so you still have a little bit of time. Look at the timeline and just make sure that you are getting everything in on time. The thing that we told students was, if you do not sign up for any classes, or you do not sign up for your alternates, which again I'll talk about in a minute, then when the window closes, then we will have to fill in those spaces for you. And I probably don't like the same classes that your kid likes. So I told them just to make sure that they are taking the time to do that for themselves and choosing the things that they really find interesting, because it's important for them to explore some things while they're in junior high. Oh, I think I said all of this already. Sorry. One more. Again, if you have any questions specifically about gifted placements in classes, I do not make those decisions. Those come from gifted services as far as students in accelerated or advanced classes. So make sure that you reach out to these people if you are interested in asking some questions specific to that. Oh,
Sorry, I'm trying to answer questions and click at the same time.
No, it's okay. For this slideshow, we provided this to the middle schools, and when we click on that link, when we click on Go Explore, it takes us to the hub, so students could actually explore from there. So just a few scheduling pieces of information and some tips. When you are requesting classes for next year, again, you're just going to be requesting electives. All students will have math, science, social studies, and ELA. They will also all have lunch, and they will all have a study hall scheduled into their schedule. So that leaves 2 periods for them to schedule with electives. And that's 2 periods over 4 quarters. So again, that's why it's really important to kind of make sure which if your class is a quarter class, a semester class, or a year-long class. If you are trying to fill 1 period, you would have either 4 quarter electives, you would have 2 semester electives, or you would have 1 year-long elective. And then for the second period, you just do the same thing. So times that by 2, and then you should have enough electives. In the end, if you've been into Infinite Campus, you'll notice that at the top there is a number, something out of 36. So just make sure that it says 36 out of 36 units at the top of the schedule. If it doesn't, then the schedule is not full. So just make sure that you've done that. Let's see. Also, please make sure that you add 4 to 6 alternates. Alternates are classes that students are willing to take if for some reason they can't get the class they requested. With 900 and some students, it's very hard to guarantee that every single student is going to get every elective they request, but we do do our best to try to make sure that they get some of the electives that they request first, and then if we have to go into alternates, then we do. And again, if there are no alternates, then we choose their classes, and sometimes they're not really the ones that they want to be in, and schedule changes are a little more limited they'll be a little more limited because the schedule is very tight. We have a lot of students and our classes are very full. So just make sure that when they register for a class, they're not just putting classes down. Make sure that it's the class that they are interested in. It's pretty exciting, the electives we have next year. We have like space and flight. We have a yoga and mindfulness class. We have some different things like We the People, which is a social studies elective, and ACT prep and Python programming. There's just all kinds of really cool electives next year. And while I'm on that topic, please make sure that you, again, look at the program of study, because it will tell you if there's a prerequisite for a course. This is very simplified, but if you are wanting to take Medical Detectives 2, you have to have taken Medical Detectives 1. So that's the prerequisite for that course. And you have to make sure that students are following those, because sometimes it's a grade, sometimes, there's all kinds of different prerequisites for different courses. So just make sure they're checking that out. And let's see. I think I did mention, can you go back? Sorry. You don't get to choose the period or the quarter that you have a class. That's just automatically scheduled in based on your requests. Schedule changes are very, very limited. And again, courses are not guaranteed. I guess I did cover all of that. And finally, the course requests are due into Infinite Campus by March 11th. So please make sure that you have all of the course requests entered by then. There is no submit button. There is no, there's a thing where you can actually print out the courses that you requested. That's a good idea, because at least you have record that those are the ones that you requested. So later, if there's questions, if you don't remember which ones you requested, you'll have a document for that. And there is a signature place at the bottom. We do not need that form. So that's really just for your records. So please make sure that you get all of those in by March 11th, and we will get the schedules built from there. Ms. Richardson, is there anything you would like to add, or Ms. Smoot?
I'm just opening up as I'm trying to type in answers to questions as you were talking, but we can open up the chat for other questions that you and Ms. Smoot can answer.
Oh, okay. All right. So they type them in and I will answer verbally. Is that? 6 units of alternates. Yeah. I mean, as many as you can put in there, I would, put alternates. And I also asked the students to put in order of priority, which alternates they would like, which actually even the courses as well.
One of the constraints that we have is that we are only allowed to have so many students in a classroom per period. So while not every course is offered every period because of the multiple electives and ranges that we offer, we have teachers who teach multiple preps. So it is important because like Mrs. Owen said, we do our best to try to get the elective requests that students want. However, because of the amount of students that we have and the constraints on how many students we can put in a classroom at a time, sometimes students do get pushed out of a first elective course. If that happens in the 7th grade, we try to take every opportunity we can to make sure that that student gets that elective in 8th grade, when they enroll again or go back through to repick their electives for their 8th grade year. So we do make every attempt to make sure that students, if they were unable to get the experience in 7th grade, that they're able to get it in 8th grade.
And I did have that question. Are classes first come, first serve? No, they are not. Students, we try to make every effort to get all the students all the requests in, and then we will build the schedule from there. So it is not first come, first serve. Although I will tell you that some of the middle schools were having a little friendly competition as to who could get all of theirs done first. I won't tell you who's most competitive, but they were having some fun with that. So, confirming that if electives are randomly selected, that first come first serve will not have an impact on what is given. That is correct. It is not first come first serve.
Why does it take so long to receive final schedules? Because we have to use the requests of students to see how many sections of each course we can build. And then from there, the constraints of how many courses a teacher can teach in a period, like the day, plus then trying to map out where those courses lie, because this is very much like a high school schedule with the periods. So every period is placed. And so it does take time to, yes, you put all of those requests in, but then we have to go through and actually build out what does that look like? How many sections of English 7 do we need? How many sections of gifted English 7 do we need? How many sections of social studies? All of those pieces. And then placing them to make sure that teachers have a full schedule and that students are given the maximum amount of opportunities to be able to take their first choices. So it's something that I work on all summer.
Are there any other questions?
Mrs. Owen, if they needed to access this information, where could they look and find all of this information beyond our little YouTube video today?
So each of the middle schools has instructed the students on where they have given them access to all of the scheduling documents. I know Diley was going to be on Miss Nielsen's Google Classroom. And I believe that Tollgate was it was the different teacher classrooms. Miss Smoot, did they mention at Harmon? I didn't go to Harmon, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, at Harmon, it's on Mrs. Halcombe's counseling Google Classroom. So that's where all the information is for the hub and the videos.
Yes.
So just have your students log into their Chromebook and then have them walk you through your Google Classrooms, their Google Classrooms, and that's where you'll be able to have the quick access to all of the information. Is there any risk of being closed out of band? Band is our largest course, so no, we have yet to encounter that at all.
The scheduling information for the Diley students is on Mrs. Nielsen's Google Classroom, so your student can access it from there.
If you do have any questions, again, have your student open up their Chromebook, go into the Google Classroom where their scheduling information is, and then there is that Google form at the bottom. And so on that, you can fill out any of those forms there. Band is one elective, but is 4 units because it is a year-long course. So of the 36, band takes up 4 of them. That is correct, Courtney. Yes, all of this is done through your students' Infinite Campus. So it is because it is tied to their specific Infinite Campus account. I suggest I have a freshman and a sophomore in the district, and I went through with them as they were logging in and putting in their electives. And I had them show me theirs when they were in junior high. And we just finished up high school last week, and had them sit with me, and I watched as they did it through their piece just to make sure that they weren't signing up for, my seventh grader wasn't trying to sign up for Spanish 2, or some of those things that they automatically would not be able to meet the prerequisite for. So they should be able to show you exactly where to go in Infinite Campus, to go in. And I would highly suggest having them show you, so you have an idea, because we ran into last year, the students put some courses in, they sat with their parents, and then the students went back in and changed their courses again. So the parents had the screenshot of what they sat down and looked through and put in, and then the kids were like, oh, I'm going to change everything up. So just make sure, I would just suggest, keeping that open line of communication with your student about, like, these are the courses that you signed up for here. This is what we talked about, and things along those natures.
I did want to also mention, I forgot to include, as far as foreign languages go, 7th graders can only take Spanish. Eighth graders can take Spanish, French, or German. So, if your student is thinking about signing up for Spanish, they can do that. However, one of the things that the high school has shared with us is that, generally, if students start taking a foreign language in junior high, the idea is that they will be taking it up into high school. For students who, it's not recommended that they take it just to get it out of the way. It is a difficult course. It's high school paced. So students do have to be very prepared to take it. And there are students that do very well in Spanish and go on to Spanish 2. But we caution them a little bit with regard to taking it as a 7th grader, and just making sure that that's something that they would want to continue with into high school.
And we have our Flex course, which is foreign language exploratory course. It does a little bit of French, German, and Spanish. It is a quarter-long course. I am a former Spanish teacher, so I do highly recommend that students in 7th grade look at the exploratory course, just really to decide, because it just gives you a taste of each language. And, there is quite a bit of studying involved in making sure to understand and be able to produce the language. And some students struggle with that. So that piece there, because it's not a junior high course that you take for high school credit. It is a high school course that you can take in junior high. And so it is a little bit more strenuous. There are performance assessments. They have to speak. They have to be able to present in the language. So that would be, that would be my biggest consideration, is really think about it, because it is, it is a little bit more intensive than I think students think it would be. You can take Spanish both 7th and 8th grade. You take Spanish 1, but there is the requirement, in order to take Spanish 2, you have to meet the proficiency level. And that proficiency level is determined based off of rubrics on how you can perform within the language. And that's all aspects of that: speaking, reading, listening, and writing. And you have to perform at a novice mid level in order to go on to Spanish 2. It's not just a grade requirement piece. It's your ability to perform in the language. That way you can be set up for success going into the second year of any language. I was looking at what else is on here. Does your teacher decide if you can be in an advanced class? Prerequisites are determined based upon, it could be based upon Ohio State testing skills or scores. It could be based upon iReady diagnostic scores. There are multiple pieces. It is not just teacher recommendation to get you into advanced courses.
As far as the waiting for the foreign language, you and your child know your child better than anyone. And so, you just kind of have to gauge whether or not you think they can handle it. Again, it is very rigorous. The thing that is also a little concerning is it does, follow the district policy for high school credited courses. And if they get in there and they don't do well and they don't drop it within the first 8 days, then they would receive an F on their transcript if they decided to drop the class and they were not passing the class. And even if they are passing the class, they get an F for that grading period and they withdraw pass for the rest of the year. And that goes on their high school transcript. So when we talk about, kind of making sure that kids are ready, we want to see them be successful, and some of the consequences of not doing well in the foreign language are stiff. There's some pretty stiff consequences. So we want to make sure that they're doing well and they're signing up for things that they're going to enjoy. And so, transitioning into 7th grade is a big transition. It really is. And taking the time to really kind of have some fun with some other electives too is not a bad thing, especially since Spanish takes up one full period. It's not a bad thing for them to have the opportunity to explore some of the other classes. Okay. The questions have kind of slowed down. So we do have the 8th grade meeting coming up here that we need to kind of get ready for. So I do appreciate all of you tuning in and all of your great questions. Again, if you have any further questions, there is that Google form. So feel free to ask any questions on that form that's in the hub. And we look forward to meeting you next year. Thank you very much. Bye.